Good morning, dear students. I, Professor Basaraj Kuruche, welcome you all for today's lecture of Elements of Cost and Market Analysis, Module number 2, Video number 32. Today, we are going to see the various aspects of supply. In previous class, we have seen the meaning of supply and factors affecting supply. Today we will be discussing the law of supply, statement of law of supply, supply schedule, supply curve, assumptions and exceptions to law of supply. The law of supply expresses a relationship between the supply and price of a product. It states a direct relationship between the price of a product and its supply, while other factors are kept constant. In law of demand, there was a relationship between price and demand. Here we are going to see how supply changes with the changes in price. So here, for example, in case the price of a product increases, sellers would like to supply more, or sellers would prefer to increase the production of the product to earn high profits, which would automatically lead to increased supply. And if the prices are falling, the supplier will definitely try to reduce the production and ultimately the supply will decrease. So this is the relationship between the price and supply. Similarly, if the prices of the product decreases, the suppliers would decrease the supply of product in market, as he or she would wait to raise in the price of the product in future. So here in law of demand there was a relationship between price and demand. Here in law of supply there is a relationship between the price and supply. Let us see what does this law says about, that is law of supply says about is, other things remaining unchanged, the supply of commodity expand with the rise in price, with the rise in its price, and contrast with a fall in its price. In simple words, other things remaining unchanged, the supplier will supply more goods and services at higher prices, then less supply of goods and services if the prices falls. So here price and supply are having opposite directions or opposite relations. If the prices are not opposite, price and supply have a similar relationship, that is, if the price increases, supply will also increase. If the price decreases, the supply will also decrease. So here, this is the relationship between the price and supply. The law of supply can be better understood with the help of supply schedule, supply curve and supply function. Let us discuss these concepts in detail in this slides. That is, supply schedule. Supply schedule means the numerical representation or the representation of law of supply with the help of a table is known as supply schedule. Here in this supply schedule we have two columns, that is price of milk per liter in rupees, and another is quality supplied 1000 per day in liters. Okay, so here in one column the prices have been given, and in another column the prices, and another column the quantity supplied is given. Let us see how the prices and supply are changing. When the price was 10 rupees per liter, the quantity supplied was 10. Similarly, when the prices increased from 10 to 10 to 12, the quality supplied or the quantity supplied was 30. Again the prices increased from 12 to 14, then the prices increased from 12 to 14, the quantity supplied also increased from 13 to 20. And further, when the prices increased from 14 to 16, the quantity supplied was 25. So here we can see that as the prices are increasing, the product or quantity supplied is increasing, and as the prices increase, the suppliers are willing to supply more goods and services in the market. So here this same thing we can put forward or put further in, we can put in say diagrammatical representation, which is known as supply curve. So let us see the supply curve. Supply curve means it is the graphical representation of demand supply schedule. In supply schedule, on OY axis prices have been plotted, and on OX axis quantity has been plotted. Let us see, when the price was 10, the quantity supplied was also 10. Further, when the price increased to 12, the quantity supplied was increased to 15. When the prices increased to 14, the quantity supplied increased to 20. When the prices were 16, the quantity supplied was 25. So SS is the supply curve, which denotes that the supply curve is showing that as the prices are increasing, the quantity supplied is also increasing. Next, let us move forward in assumptions. The assumptions for law of supply are the assumption that the price of a product changes, but the change in cost of production is constant. Here, the cost of production is, say, believed that it will be constant and it will not change at any point of time. The cost of production will be constant for the units of production in the tenure. Further, this is because if the cost of production rises with the increase in price, then sellers would supply more due to reduction in the profit margin. Therefore, law of supply would be applicable only when the cost of production remains constant. The cost of production should be constant. That is the first assumption of law of supply. The second assumption of law of supply assumes that there is no change in the technique of production. This is because the advanced technique would reduce the cost of production and makes the seller supply more in a lower price. So the second assumption is the technique of production should not change. Third assumption is that there is no change in the scale of production. This is because if the scale of production changes with the period of time, then it would affect the supply. In case of the law of supply would not be applicable. If the scale of production is increased, if they have shifted to large scale production, then the supply will increase, and at that point of time the law of supply cannot be applicable. The next assumption is that policies of government remain constant. If there is an increase in tax rates, then the supply of products would decrease even at the higher prices. Therefore, for the applicability or application of law of supply, it is necessary that government policies should not say change or should remain constant. If the government policies changes, definitely it will impact on supply of goods and services. Therefore, the fourth assumption is that the government policies should remain constant. The next assumption is that the transport cost remains the same. In case the transport cost reduces, then the supply would increase, which will invalid according to the law of supply. So, the transport cost should remain constant. The next assumption is that there is no speculation about prices in future, which otherwise can affect the supply of product. If there is no speculation about products, then the economy is assumed to be balanced and people are satisfied with the available products and do not require any change. So these are the assumptions of law of supply. The next thing what we are supposed to see is exceptions to the law of supply. Exceptions to law of supply means these are the situations when the law of supply cannot be applicable. It is exceptional case where the law cannot be applied. That is, first one, speculation. Speculation means the trading of shares and debentures or the things what we trade comes under, say, speculation. The law of supply cannot be applicable when it is a situation of speculation. Speculation means here we call it as in Marathi Satta Bazar. When this kind of situation is there, at that point of time the law of supply cannot be applicable or it is not applicable in speculation situation. The next exception to law of supply is agricultural products. Agricultural products are some products wherein the law of supply cannot be applicable because these goods are perishable and they cannot store these goods, and because of which the law of supply cannot be applicable in agricultural products. Because if we try to stop the supply, if the prices are decreasing and we want to reduce the supply, we cannot, because the products are perishable, because of which these products cannot be stored and therefore we have to sell at the available prices. The next exception is change in other situations. The various other situations like the taste of the consumer, then the emergency situation and all, if it is arise, at that point of time people will not think of price and they try to finish up the stock whatever they have. So these are the situations when the law of supply cannot be applicable. And last but not least exception to law of supply is perishable goods. The perishable goods like milk and other things cannot be, say, in this situation the law of supply cannot be applicable, because if we try to store these products or vegetables or fruits, if we try to store these products over a period of time, these products may be spoiled, and because of which it will be a loss for the seller or supplier. Therefore he tries to finish the goods at available prices within the stipulated time. So therefore these are the exceptions to law of supply. With this we complete the concepts of supply. If you have any doubts, questions, queries related to this, you all can feel free to contact me at any point of time. Thank you. Good day.